I knew something was wrong the moment he set the table himself. Daniel never did that. Not in 10 years of marriage. He always said I made too much ceremony out of family dinners. Yet that night, he'd lit candles. Real ones. The kind we'd saved for anniversaries we no longer celebrated. He even wore the navy shirt I once told him made his eyes look softer. When I walked in, he smiled. But it wasn't love. It was pity. And that was my first warning. My sister, Emma, was already sitting across from him. She looked nervous, twisting her bracelet like it might untangle whatever guilt she was hiding. I thought maybe she'd come to tell me about her new boyfriend, the one she never named. But I had no idea she was about to name my husband. Dinner began in silence, the kind of silence that buzzes in your ears, thick and awkward. Daniel poured me wine, my favorite kind, but his hand shook. I noticed, but I said nothing. I was too busy pretending everything was fine. And then, as if he'd rehearsed it, Daniel cleared his throat and said, "There's no easy way to say this, Lily." The air went still. Even the ticking clock on the wall seemed to pause. He looked at me, then at Emma, then back again. "I'm leaving," he said softly. "For Emma." My fork slipped from my hand. The sound of it hitting the plate echoed through the room like a gunshot. For a second, I thought he was joking. My Daniel, the man who once cried when I got sick, who spent nights painting our future in promises and late-night coffee, couldn't possibly mean it. But then Emma spoke. Her voice was small, trembling. "I didn't mean for this to happen, Lily. We just fell in love." I looked at her, my own sister, the same girl I used to braid hair for before school, who borrowed my clothes and told me her secrets. And suddenly, the whole room felt like a lie I'd been living in for months, maybe years. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, staring at the candles flickering between us. "You fell in love?" I whispered. "With my husband?" Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Lily, please!" But I didn't let her finish. "Do you even hear yourself? You're my sister!" Daniel tried to reach for my hand, and I pulled away so fast the chair nearly toppled. "Don't," I said. "You don't get to touch me after touching her." He looked down, ashamed. Maybe that was his version of guilt. Quiet, small, useless. I wanted to throw the wine glass, to shatter something, just so it matched how my heart felt. But I didn't. I just sat there, holding myself still, because falling apart in front of them felt like letting them win. After a long pause, Daniel said, "We didn't plan this. It just happened." I almost laughed. "That's what people say when they plan everything." He winced. Emma covered her face, crying quietly, and I realized something awful. I wasn't crying for them. I was crying for me, for the woman who ignored every late-night text he brushed off, every unexplained meeting, every sudden distance that I'd blamed on stress. I saw it all now. I'd seen it before. I just didn't want to believe it. That night, after they left, I sat alone in the living room. The candles had burned down to wax puddles. Their smell, sweet and suffocating, clung to the air. My wedding photo stared back at me from the mantel. We looked so happy in it. He was kissing my forehead. I was smiling with my eyes closed, foolish, completely blind. For the next few days, I moved like a ghost. The house felt too big, too empty, too full of echoes of us. Every room had a memory, his laugh, his scent, his promises. Emma tried calling, dozens of times. I never picked up. But karma doesn't wait for permission. 3 weeks later, I got a call from Daniel. He sounded panicked. "Lily! I need to talk to you, please." I almost hung up, but something in his tone made me pause. He said Emma had left. Apparently, she'd needed space. Apparently, she'd changed. Apparently, he'd been used. "She's gone, Lily," he said quietly. "She took money from the account. She's not answering my calls." I could almost hear the disbelief cracking his voice. He thought I'd comfort him, the same way I always had when life turned on him. But all I said was, "Now you know how it feels." Later that week, Emma called too. Her voice was hoarse from crying. Lily, I made a mistake. He's not who I thought he was. I didn't know whether to laugh or scream. They'd both betrayed me, and now they wanted me to fix their mess. But I'd already learned my lesson. Not everyone who says they love you deserves your softness. So I stayed silent. She kept talking. Please, can we just talk? You're my sister. I finally answered, calm and steady. No, Emma. I was your sister. You made me something else when you took him. There was silence on the other end, a silence so heavy it felt like closure. Months passed. I found a new job, a new apartment, a new rhythm. Some nights I still woke up to the ghost of his voice or the smell of her perfume in my dreams, but they faded, slowly, painfully, beautifully. One morning, I walked past a cafe where Daniel and I used to sit. He was there, alone, older somehow, with tired eyes and no wedding ring. For a second, our eyes met through the window. He gave a small smile, almost a plea. I didn't smile back. I just turned and kept walking. And for the first time, I felt free. Sometimes people call it karma. Sometimes they call it life coming full circle. But I think it's something simpler. It's the universe whispering, you were meant to lose them because they were never meant to stay. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need their apologies. Their punishment was waking up every day knowing they traded love for lust and lost both. And as I walked into the sunlight that morning, I realized I was finally done being the woman waiting to be chosen, because I had already chosen myself